Hello, everyone. This is a pretty exciting day because Kyle and I are finally starting the podcast together.
I'm pumped. We're pumped.
It's been a long time in the making. We've invested a lot of time and energy into getting this whole studio set up and getting the equipment set up and making sure everything works properly. But most importantly, we're both really excited to start this podcast. I listen to a ton of podcasts. It's probably my favorite form of social media, I guess, or even content.
Yeah, you consume more podcasts than anyone I've ever met.
Yeah.
Like whenever you're by yourself, like I walk by your office or yeah, you're usually listening to like podcasts.
Yep. I love podcasts. And so it's a really cool thing for me to try out. I just think that because I love them so much, I would get a lot of enjoyment out of creating them. And then Kyle loves podcasts too, but most importantly, Kyle loves to talk and he has a lot of things he likes to talk about. And so this is kind of a perfect creative outlet for him as well.
Yeah, it's this is actually will be my second podcast.
Oh,
I had a podcast with my buddy, but it kind of just petered off. It was just too hard to kind of stay consistent because we were both traveling so much. So yeah, obviously this one should be a lot easier because we both live together, and I don't think we're gonna have that issue of not being able to record.
yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, I feel like there's plenty of nights where instead of just sitting on the couch watching 4 episodes of The Sopranos, we could come in here and chat with each other and record a podcast and, start this cool journey.
Yeah, but what's the name of the podcast?
Yeah, on to the name. The name of this podcast is the Spiked and Psyched podcast. So there's a little bit of lore behind that name. Spiked and Psyched is a term from the old coaches at the University of Colorado, Mark and Heather. They used to tell the athletes, instead of, oh, practice starts at 7 or practice starts at, 8, they would say, we want you to be spiked and psyched at 8 a.m. And so we always knew that spiked and psyched at 8 a.m. meant that the workout starts at 8 a.m. So there was never any confusion of like, oh, do you want us to meet at 8 a.m.? Are we meeting to warm up at 8 a.m.? No, the gun goes off for the workout, metaphorically speaking, at 8 a.m. And so then it was always up to the athletes to kind of decide what time we wanted to warm up or how early we needed to get there to be ready to go at the time we were supposed to be spiked and psyched. And so I thought that would be a pretty cool name because it means something to me from my past, and I still use that term even though nobody else around me uses that term anymore. And
Does no one else use it?
no, Carlson doesn't use that term.
Oh.
Where he'll be like, I want you to start the workout at 8 a.m. Or he'll say like practice is at 6:30, and I'll be like, starting the workout at 6:30 or meeting at 6:30, and then he has to clarify, oh, meeting at 6:30. It's like I kind of wish we could just be like spiked and psyched at 7. Like, okay, meeting at 6:30. But
Yeah. Well, Mark and Heather were always like to keep it short and sweet. So
yeah,
makes sense.
probably won't be our podcast. Might not be short, but hopefully it's a little sweet.
Yeah, but this is episode 1. We're pumped. We wanted to do it right. We wanted to have like a set where, I mean, not like a set, but just like a space that like looked good because we want to not only post these on like Spotify and like Apple Music, but also on like YouTube if people, because like I like podcasts with videos. I think it's interesting to see the people chatting and like their interactions via video. So yeah, we got I think like a decent looking little spot, and we got a decent camera, and we got all the fancy mics and everything. We might need a new like mixer because that thing's been giving us some problems. But other than that, it's yeah, it's really cool. And I will say, after doing a really shitty podcast with like basically just recording on Zoom with like no microphones or anything, having all the equipment and all the stuff makes it feel cooler and makes it kind of like more fun because it's not just like you're sitting down and kind of having a conversation. It's like very purposeful.
it feels a lot more intentional. Like you're
Yeah.
sitting down, you have a mic, you have headphones, you can hear your co-host really well, and then hopefully, obviously, the audience can hear both of us really well.
Yep.
And then hopefully the video quality is good too, because that was the one thing, Kyle, about your old podcast.
Yeah, video quality sucked.
I
But it was just on Zoom, so it was like all compressed.
Yeah, but I didn't like to watch the video
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
because
No,
of
yeah.
the video quality was so bad. And so I agree with you 100%. Like when the video quality is good, it just becomes so much more enjoyable. And hopefully you guys like our background too. I mean, those of you who are watching on YouTube,
Yeah, if you're not watching on YouTube, you should at least just go check out the set and tell us if you hate it or love it or feel nothing about it. But
hopefully you don't feel nothing about it. Hopefully you're like, oh wow, that's cute.
yeah, but we got some cool stuff. Like we put some jerseys up. Like there's I guess it's kind of hard to see because there's some glare from one of the windows in the background, but I have my Boulder High School track and cross country jersey, and then Val has her CU jersey here in the middle, like a Colorado one, and then one of Val's USA ones from the Olympics, and it actually like spells out Boulder, Colorado, USA. And when we were setting up the kind of like area, we put that up accidentally, and then we like realized like, oh, it's Boulder, Colorado, USA. That's pretty kind of funny. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
And then Kyle hung these little shelves over next to me, and he has like one of his little Lego things that he built up
it's a
there.
Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah,
Or it's a Lilo.
It's a
Lilo.
Stitch.
Or yeah, fuck me. Yeah, it's a Stitch.
It's a Stitch
Yeah,
from Lilo and Stitch, and then two cute little plants, and then the pair of spikes that I wore at the Olympics, these like super neon orange spikes, and then my medal from my first Olympic trials, the I guess third place medal, and then the medal from 2024 when I won the trials, so the gold medal, and so that's pretty cool. And then Kyle has a ficus on his side.
I got a ficus. This is the ficus side.
That's the ficus corner over there.
Chat GPT said it was too white over here, so
So we actually, it was kind of it was like a pleasant surprise. We were at Costco like last weekend, because we hadn't
Yep.
been to Costco in like 2 months because we've been traveling so much, and
Yep.
now that we're finally like back in the States like indefinitely until we take a true vacation,
Yep.
we were like, okay, we have to go to Costco. And we were just like walking through, and then all of a sudden there was like all these beautiful plants, like big beautiful plants, and they were only like $26. And so I was like, I think these are perfect. And so then while we were in Costco, we were asking ChatGPT, like, okay, which ficus should we put in our podcast?
No, it was like, well,
studio?
there's a bunch of different types of plants.
Yeah.
And it said that the ficus was the best looking one. So that's the one we went with. So shout out AI
Yeah.
for the help. But okay, one thing we didn't do, which we talked about doing, is we need to do intros of like who
Intros.
we are.
Yeah.
So I'll start with Val since she's the driving force behind this podcast. So Val is a two-time Olympian professional runner, two-time Olympic finalist, I should say. I don't know if there's many professional like active runners with a podcast that I know of. Like obviously like there's like guys that have podcasts, but I don't know about women. So maybe you're a trailblazer of some kind. But yeah, two-time Olympic finalist. You run for Nike. Shout out Nike. You also work a full-time job, and I would say your story to where you've gotten from a running perspective is pretty unique in the fact that obviously you were still a really good collegiate runner, but you were just, your best finish at USA or at NCAA's was what, fifth? Your junior year?
Yep, junior year of eligibility.
Yeah, so your junior year you were fifth, and then your senior year, your last year, you were sixth, and you were pretty disappointed with that. But you graduated, didn't have an agent, obviously didn't have a contract, went, it was just kind of, basically you kept running because you're like, well, I'm qualified for the Olympic trials, so I should at least do the Olympic trials. We graduated in 2019. We both graduated the same year. And I always said like, hey, if I was that good, I would keep running and at least run at the Olympic trials because that's sick. And then, yeah, and then you ended up making that Olympic team, and that kind of like launched you in. But then even after you made an Olympic team, it was hard for you to get a contract, which we thought was at the time was, I mean, still is kind of crazy. You had to basically go unsponsored for almost 2 full years after that. And then you won an indoor 3,000 meter championship, which was sick. And then you got a sponsorship from Nike. And then you tore your ACL.
Immediately.
Like, yeah, in your first race in a Nike kit, you tore your ACL, which was like, holy shit, this is insane. And that was kind of like your career. You made the Olympics first time, then you had a bad year, you had some injury, put a lot of pressure on yourself. Then 2023, you're coming back with a vengeance, won an indoor title, got sponsored, and blew up your knee in Doha, which was, I wasn't there for that race, so that was brutal to watch online. And then you come back after getting double knee surgery because you used your patella for your ACL. So then you had double knee surgery, which was insanely brutal. And then whatever it was, 10 months later, you run the third fastest American steeplechase time ever. You win a national title in the outdoor steeplechase. And yeah, you became a 2-time Olympian, which is insane. So you're a 2-time national champion and a 2-time Olympian. So anyways, yeah, I'm a big fan of Val's. She's pretty good at running. But that's our primary host. I don't know. That was kind of a long-winded intro.
Yeah, that was a very generous intro, Kyle.
Sorry. Mine can be really short.
No, Kyle's no.
Nope, mine can be really short.
Kyle went to Western State, Colorado, in Gunnison.
I'm from Boulder.
Yeah, he's from Boulder, born and
I
raised.
went to a small school.
Excuse me, I'm supposed to be doing your intro.
All right, go ahead. It doesn't have to be very long. I'm not doing
Kyle's being really shy for some reason. He's being a shy boy, doesn't want me to talk about him. He went to Western State in Gunnison, and if you've never been to Gunnison, Colorado, it is like the most perfect place for training ever. Emma Coburn's group that trains quote unquote in Crested Butte, no, they're running in Gunnison. They might sleep in Crested Butte, but they're training in Gunnison.
Yeah,
so that's
true. They run sometimes in Crested Butte. For
yeah,
sure.
but
there's not very much. There's not very much running. In
yeah,
Crested Butte.
I mean, unless you want to.
It's not really real. It's not really realistic
No.
to be a professional track runner and train exclusively in Crested Butte.
Yeah, because like she has a treadmill at her house in Crested Butte, which makes a lot of sense. And then maybe she probably goes on trail runs or whatever. But like when they're doing long runs and when they're doing track workouts, they always go down to Gunnison. And so that's where Kyle went to school. And so it's a really good place to train. It's at like 8,000 feet in elevation.
Yeah, 7,700 feet.
It's super high and the trails are amazing. There's some flat trails, there's some hilly stuff. It's great. But the biggest problem that Kyle faced in college was how cold it got in Gunnison, because now Kyle hates the winter, but that's okay. So then Kyle and I graduated in 2019, and Kyle had this really great opportunity to start working for this private jet charter company. And so Kyle was being like a little tech assistant boy at the jet charter company, and then he was doing like marketing. And then he realized marketing is just a bunch of fugazi. And so then he thought, oh, I think I want to do jet sales. And so then he weaseled his way into being basically like a jet boy. And he would broker trips on the fleet of jets that the company owned.
Yep.
And so then it was kind of perfect timing, because then the pandemic hit and all these rich people still wanted to travel, but the domestic flights weren't going. And so all of the rich people started flying private.
Yeah,
so
it was like the perfect time to get into. Yeah, I worked in an industry that really benefited from COVID, in like the golden age for that industry. Like, in the years following COVID, there was tons of businesses like getting acquired by larger private aviation businesses. Actually, the business I worked for got acquired. But yeah, it was a cool experience.
Yeah, and he made a lot of money too, which was really cool. He worked really hard during the pandemic and was working like 100 hours a week plus, made a lot of money from commissions, and then was actually able to buy a house here in Boulder, the one that we're currently in. And so all of Kyle's hard work really paid off. And then some stuff happened with that company, and, Kyle felt it was time to move on. And so then he moved into a tech sales position, which has actually been great, because now that Kyle works in tech, he is able to travel with me because he can work fully remote and he has a lot more flexibility.
Yep.
And so this past year has been really, really special. And honestly, last year too was really, really special. Kyle pretty much got to come with me to all my meets.
Well, yeah, I would say like basically my perspective on it is like, you know, well, one of the things was like when you fucked up your knee in Doha, I was like, holy shit, that would be like that would have been really nice for both of us, honestly, but obviously especially for you to have someone there to like help. And then also like at the same time, and we've talked about this a lot, it's like what you're doing right now is like a professional runner and all these things that you're getting to go to is so unique and special. And it's like, one, I want to help you like chase your dreams, but also like fucking selfishly, it's like the coolest shit that I get to go to these diamond leagues, like, you know, and get like basically a backstage pass and like, cause I'm obviously like I ran in college at Western and I love track and field and it's like the coolest shit to, I mean, get to go to these things that I would have never been able to go to otherwise, like in that capacity. Like obviously I could pay for tickets and go, but yeah, so my perspective has just been like, you know, obviously like I have the money, you know, you can't make memories like that later or another time. Like those are pretty fleeting. I mean, each individual race, like each diamond league you go to, it's like it's not going to happen in the same way ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, otherwise I'm just going to be here fucking twiddling my thumbs,
Working.
right? And then like, so yeah, so you know, I have a really awesome job now that is really flexible and that I can go do that sort of stuff. So just kind of seems like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't I?
And selfishly, it's really nice for me to have my best friend there.
Yeah, no, it's sick.
And
It's so fucking fun. I mean, like all the trips we go on for your running are super cool and unique. The one that we just got back from
yeah,
was sick, but yeah, so definitely like very, very fortunate to have a good job and obviously like have the means to travel with you. It's very fucking expensive though.
yeah, it is. It is actually.
It is not. Holy shit. Traveling internationally as much as we have this year is.
It's crazy. We've spent a ton of money,
Yeah.
but
But
it's kind
totally
of
worth it.
yeah, it's
I
kind of one
don't
of
I
those
don't regret
things
it.
where
I
it's
don't
like,
regret it.
you know,
I mean, like Paris last year is arguably like the greatest trip of all time
right.
with like friends and stuff. So
Like,
yeah,
I have no
yeah, I have no regrets. No
right.
regrets. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is expensive. It is expensive. You can't do it if you're pretty hard to do if you
Yeah. If you don't have a
if you're
ton
on
of
a
money,
budget. Yeah.
yeah,
Which not that I'm actually extremely cripplingly frugal like 90% of the time, but it's just one of those things I feel like I'm just not going to be able to. Yeah, these are like once in a lifetime things. Like, so yeah, I
because
just feel like it's one of those things where yeah, I guess I could always put more money into my Roth
IRA.
or buy more fucking Apple stock, or I could go watch Diamond Leagues, which have all honestly been so sick this year. I mean, even though like I know you didn't really have any races that at any of the Diamond Leagues that you wanted to, it's still worth it. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I agree, 100%. And I think that even eventually, like when I retire from running, it's not like we're gonna go to Doha, Oslo, Switzerland, Brussels,
Well, not in the same
Eugene,
capacity.
all in the same year for like 5 days each time. We're never gonna do that. Like when I retire from running, we'll say, oh, we want to go to China. And then we'll go there for like 10 days and just see China once. That'll be the big trip for the whole year or something,
Yeah.
right? It's not like we'll be going to 5 different countries in 1 year for 5 days. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Totally.
So yeah, it's really cool to have Kyle get to come with me. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of my competitors go to all of these meets completely by themselves. Like a lot of times our coaches can't even come because a lot of times the coaches coach multiple athletes.
Yeah,
and
some of like the pro specific groups, they do have more people that come.
yeah, totally. Like, you know, Sha'Carri's coach, like if Melissa, TT, and Sha'Carri are all at the same Diamond League, of
Yeah.
course he's going to go. And, Stephen Haas, if his, dark sky athletes, he could have like 3 or 4 all at the same Diamond League. And of course he'll go to that. But, Courtney Wayman, I mean, this year, besides Lexi Halliday, which Lexi only raced in one Diamond League, Courtney doesn't have any teammates who are racing in Diamond Leagues in the same capacity that she is.
No.
And same with Gabby. Like, Gabby's really only other training partner is Emma. And Emma,
Yeah, she was hurt this year.
yeah, Emma was hurt
Well,
this year.
yeah, people that you're immediately racing against, yeah, they don't. They
I mean, I
pick
guess
it up.
Olivia Markachek.
I think Joe goes to. He was at most of the races this year.
He was at most of the races, which is pretty amazing, honestly.
Yeah, totally.
Like that's huge. I mean, it's very rare that a coach can travel like that because it's so expensive. And I don't think that the Diamond League, I think the Diamond League can cover coaches sometimes.
Probably depends on who you are. Like if you're Jakob, they probably would.
I'm sure, yeah. Or like Yavi's support team probably, gets to go with her. But obviously, like the better you are, the more privileges you get.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Of course, yeah. They've all earned that. So
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, I'm just like
Kyle's a groupie, a Diamond League groupie.
I'm a just normal hobby jogger these days. I don't still run. I quit competitive running the moment I graduated college.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still run with Val, but
In a limited
about
capacity.
That's one thing that was always so funny is like when I graduated college, especially living in Boulder, like, and obviously like, most of my friends were runners. Everyone I talked to was like, so when are you are you gonna race? Like, are you gonna race again soon? Or are you gonna like, and I was like, I don't think so. And they'd be like, no, you'll get back into it. I don't know. It's 6 years later, haven't gotten the itch. So
Well, I remember when we first graduated, I honestly was a little bit surprised that you were just going to quit cold turkey. Genuinely. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, you're not even going to try to maybe like train for the marathon? Like, because I thought, oh, you could surely make it to the marathon trials if you wanted to. Like, yeah, it's hard, but like,
yeah,
you're good enough. I feel like you could have if you really.
I was not very good.
Okay, well, I felt like Kyle could have.
I think I could have been a lot better than I performed, but yeah, honestly, like I was just like kind of burnt out. I wanted to do a lot better than I did, and I think I had the potential to do a lot better, but there was just kind of couldn't figure out collegiate running to get to where I wanted to go. And honestly, I was totally content with it because I worked really fucking hard and I tried really hard. And it just didn't work out. So my perspective leaving college was like, I think my perspective was, I was like, if I can apply the same amount of work or like, just like put the same in that I did to running into something else that I'm like into. At the time, it was like my career. Like I was like, if I put that same into my career, I think I could go far. And luckily, I mean, definitely was in the right place at the right time, and really benefited like kind of right away. But yeah, anyways, no, I have no regrets, but I still love running. I don't have any personal ambition in the sport. It's honestly perfect. Maybe that would be different if I wasn't like with you and like I couldn't like vicariously live through like everything that you were doing. Maybe I would have more of an itch, but yeah, I don't know. I always kind of laughed when people would be like, my friends would be like, you'll get the itch again. Like you'll definitely race. And I was like, I don't know, man.
I don't
think so.
I think Kyle has one race that he probably needs to do at some point.
What, try to break a 5-minute mile again?
Yeah. Well, because Charlie Sweeney, one of our friends, we had this discussion about how fast do you think Kyle could go in the mile?
Honestly, it still pisses me the fuck off.
And I was like, oh, he could probably run like 4:57.
I ran like
probably.
5 minutes in 8th grade. You guys think I couldn't run a 5-minute mile? I still run enough.
And Charlie was like, I don't know. I'd say like 5:06.
Yeah, I was pretty confident that I could run like a 4:50, like not like easily, but like I think I'd be like well clear of the 5-minute barrier. And all my friends, I don't even think I'd need a pacer.
You think you could just raw dog a 4:50?
Yes. Yes. Fucking yes, I do.
I think your hamstring would explode like immediately.
No, well, whatever. I mean, whatever. I think I'd be fine. So, anyways, yeah, I was pretty confident, and then all of my friends were basically like, I don't know, man. I'm like, what the fuck? Because Emery said the same thing you said. And she was like, I don't know. It's like, fuck you guys. So, anyways,
I think Kyle
yeah,
needs to run the mile
at some point, I probably should do that.
Next year for the Mile High Mile, join the all comers.
What is that at CU's track?
This past year it was at Niwot, but I'm gonna try to talk to Carlson.
The one. Oh, okay, the one that you guys went to for Stride.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you should
We'll
do
see.
it.
Or I can just leave it out there and just say I can do it and then never do it.
No, that's lame. No, you can't. You can't be like, oh yeah, I can run a 450 when literally everyone else is like.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm just like scared of how uncomfortable.
It's gonna suck,
Yeah,
dude.
my heart. The track hack from that will be unbelievable.
Oh my gosh, altitude miles are really quite difficult. Speaking of miles, I have a big mile coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, okay. Okay. Kind of got off track on my intro, which is totally fine. But what we should talk about is we should talk a little bit before we talk about the rest of your year. We should talk about your year so far, because I think a lot of people would be interested in kind of hearing, like your thoughts on this year. And obviously, like, I think it's no secret it didn't go so far the way you wanted it to. But yeah, I don't know. Do you want to provide any color on your year so far? Because obviously we did name this podcast Spiked and Psyched, which is directly linked to running. So we probably should talk about the professional runners and track season that you're freshly finished.
Almost finished. Well, I'm done on the track.
Saying, yeah, that's what I meant. True.
I'm done on the track.
Done on the track, but still have one more road race. So yeah, tell everyone about your year. What did you think?
Yeah, so this year was really difficult. I mean, in a lot of ways, this year was awesome because this is the longest I've ever been healthy since high school, which is kind of a big deal. And I've had some really impressive workouts that are significantly better than anything I've really done in the past. And I've tried some new stuff. It's, I thought, gone really well. I've definitely learned a lot.
Well, you had a switch in coaching from last year.
Yep. Had a switch in coaching, which in a lot of ways has been, I think, good.
Yeah, Carlson's the man. I think he's great.
Yeah, he's great. But it's just kind of unfortunate.
Well, it's a whole new system.
It's a totally new system. And it's just kind of unfortunate that, all of those positive aspects haven't really been able to shine because unfortunately my race performances haven't really,
been to where you wanted.
And even been to where I thought that they would be based off of how good everything else has been going. And so just, we can talk at the very beginning. I went to Doha to race a steeplechase, I guess, at the end of May, something like that, mid-May. And I don't know, I was scared, honestly, racing in Doha. Because the last time I was there, I blew out my knee and had like a really tough year. And I also don't think I quite knew what the expectation was.
Well, I think, sorry to interrupt you, but I think just like the big thing about going to Doha was kind of like you wanted to like kind of conquer that beast of like where you blew up your knee. But I think that maybe, like there wasn't, I don't know, like much thought outside of that.
Yeah, exactly. It was mainly about like, I want to go to Doha and not blow out my knee. And there wasn't, because, I had strained my calf. I didn't have the best workouts leading into it. I'd really only been, doing workouts for a week.
You had one, that was the only thing really this year was like that calf thing before.
Yep. It was a calf strain where I just ran easy for 10 days.
Sorry. Keep going. My bad.
I told Kyle to silence his phone before the podcast.
Did you?
But he clearly didn't do it. Anyways, so, the workouts and stuff leading into Doha weren't great. Maybe the mental piece before Doha also wasn't completely there. And so I really didn't run well at all. I ran like a 9:32, which is not very impressive. And that's not, something that I'm super proud of. And so I left Doha feeling pretty disappointed. And then I had the race in Oslo like a month later
Yep.
in June, and I was
Yep.
really excited about Oslo. The training went really well. I did great workouts. And I was in a good spot with 3 laps into the race in Oslo when unfortunately the woman right in front of me decided to like control alt delete before the barrier and just slam into it. And unfortunately, she, crashed into it so fast there wasn't time for me to react because I was right behind her. And so
I mean, she body checked the barrier with her chest.
she did. She body checked the barrier with her chest, like
I mean, there was like literally nothing you can do, and you also can't run a race. I mean, you can definitely run races to try to stay like in the steeple. I also used to do the steeple in college. You can definitely run races and try to like, be on people's shoulders and like try to avoid that stuff. But at the same time, like racing's racing. You can't avoid everything, and that one was like
it was completely unavoidable.
yeah, completely unavoidable, and you were the direct. I mean, if you look at the video, there's like just straight up nothing you could do.
Yeah.
She's falling, or she hits the barrier, and you're like, you couldn't slow down fast enough
Well,
to do anything.
I was in the air. Like I had already committed to jumping when she hit the barrier, and I like kind of fell over her, and I also hit the barrier.
Yeah.
And so I hit the barrier with my leg pretty hard. I have a scar.
Yeah, you actually have a pretty gnarly scar. You should show it. See if it would show up on the camera a little bit.
A scar on my knee. I don't know if
No,
it's
never mind.
You're never
That's
going to
not
be able
gonna
to
see
see it, but I have a pretty big scar on my knee actually
gnarly
from
scar.
hitting the barrier, and then I had this huge, huge bruise on like right above my ankle on my like anterior tibialis or whatever it's called, the muscle on the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so then I got back up and I, was just trying to finish the race, but I was, my heart rate was through the roof, my adrenaline went crazy, and, it was all I could do to just like finish. But I was really angry after that race.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think you ran like 9:30 or something. You ran faster than you did in Doha, and I was actually really proud of you because typically when you see people fall like that,
That hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, one, they either don't finish at all or they run a terrible race, like they go backwards because, gets in your head and whatever. But yeah, I mean, I was like honestly, that was like fairly impressive. Like you were bummed about your Doha race, and then you just, again, it wasn't like an amazing race, but considering the circumstances, you ran faster than you did in Doha with a fall, so you were able to mentally stay in it. So yeah, but I mean, obviously, like I know for you, and it was obviously disappointing because it was like shit, like another race that kind of didn't go your way.
100%. Yeah, it was incredibly frustrating. And I was thinking, like, okay, at this point, between traveling to Doha and back and Oslo and back, I've basically flown all the way around the world and I haven't even come close to like what my goals for the year were. And I was already 2 races in and it was June. And so then I was really frustrated, but I was like, it's fine. In 3 weeks, Prefontaine Classic is going to come up and that'll be a really fast race. Everyone's going to be there basically. They had like 16 people in the race. It was packed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is going to be great. It was my best race of the season besides US champs,
Yep.
really. But it wasn't an A+ day. Like I wasn't feeling super good. It was hot and
It was hot.
I made the mistake of like letting myself get stuck behind a woman who had pretty bad form instead of committing to passing. And so even after like I finished the race and I was like, okay, well, that wasn't like catastrophically bad. Like
No, you ran
Doha.
9:16.
Yeah, it wasn't catastrophically bad like Oslo or Doha, but I was kind of hoping.
Well, Oslo wasn't catastrophically bad. You got fucked.
Yeah, but still in my mind, like it was a big deal. And so I was obviously disappointed. But Pre was a good stepping stone. Like it was a step in the right direction. I finally ran like into some times that were good. Like a 9:16 would be a good opener.
Yeah, it's the world. I mean, it's under the world standard too.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and so it was like,
it's-
okay, well, a step in the right direction. But I didn't score any points. I, got like 12th or whatever in Pre, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already 3 races into the Diamond League series and I don't have any points. Like this was not how I thought things were gonna go.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, I guess I'll have, I'll just refocus on US champs and you know, try to have my best race there. But then we decided, like, okay, because pre wasn't like an A+ day, I wanted to get like a really good race in before US champs just as a confidence booster. Because up to that point, like, my confidence wasn't super high.
Well, I think that, and also, it's taxing to go to races and do something that you love, but then walk away. And like, also when you travel so far for a race and then you have to travel all the way back, it's like it's fucking shitty because you're kind of sitting there like the whole time kind of like stewing in the fucking, like it's kind of like you're sitting there and you're like, maybe you're not thinking about it, then you think about it and you're like, oh fuck.
Yep.
So it makes it more brutal when you travel farther away and then you have to travel all the way back. But I think also it's just, kind of, it's not as fun and it's kind of just difficult because, you put so much, I mean, for, you guys that do the steeple, right? Like, I mean, I should say any track event, you're preparing your whole year, like the whole year, right? Yeah, I mean, sure, you do some indoor races, but for steeplers, it's like you're really just waiting to steeple, like more than anything, because that's what you're best at. Like, obviously, like you're, indoor national champion in the 3K, and it's not that you're not like really good in flat races, but you really want to excel in the steeple. Like, that's what you're training all year for. So, yeah, to be 3 races in and kind of have a race that you weren't like, fuck yeah, was tough. I think it was more just like it wasn't as much fun either as you were hoping, which I think can be difficult.
Totally. Yeah, cuz like you said, it's a lot easier to have fun if you're pleased with how the race went. And while pre was a step in the right direction, I wasn't super psyched about it.
Well, yeah, and especially this year because everyone was running so good.
Yeah, yeah. And I, wasn't really even close to the top Americans.
Well, I mean, but
whatever. So then after pre, I was like, okay, well, I want to go run the 15, like the B race 1500 at Sound in LA. It was like a week after pre, and I was like, I got to go do this because I want to be able to practice racing and just have like a good experience. And so we went to LA and I did the 1500, the B race, and I ran a PR and I won. And so,
well, just getting back to the basics of just like, hey, go have fun.
Yep.
And how do you have the most fun is, go fucking kick ass.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're a really good racer. Like, that's one thing that you are, just like a really good racer. You have a really great kick. And yeah, I think it was like the perfect thing that you needed at the time to just like, one, remind yourself of like, one, how fun it is. Cause I think those, like you talked about, those first 3 races were difficult, both like physically and mentally and just fun wise. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it was just fun to see you do your thing. Cause that's like, yeah, I mean, I fucking love watching you race like that. So yeah, just raced like a dog in that race. You like intentionally went to the front, kept it honest, kept it on the pacers. And then, people went around you with like, I don't know, 250, 300 to go. And then, yeah, you fought back and you still won. It was a gritty way to, anyways, it was really cool. That was like definitely, I wouldn't say it was your best race of the season, but because I actually think USA's was still your best race relatively. But it was cool.
Yeah, it was that was the step in the right direction that I really needed. Like a good confidence boost. I ran a personal best in the 1500. I felt good doing it. And so it felt really nice to finally have some fun, honestly, back on the track. That's what I really needed, was just a fun race. And so checked that one off the list. And then 2 weeks later was US champs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really hot in Eugene while we were there, which was difficult. Everyone had to deal with it, but the heat is always difficult for me. And I, try my best to heat train here in Boulder, running around with lots of clothes on, sitting in the sauna, but the heat's always hard for me. So made it through the prelim, no problems. It was good.
Yeah, you looked good in the prelims too.
And then the final came around and we were just really bunched up. There was a whole bunch of us, all right there. And I wasn't in the best position necessarily, but I still fought pretty hard, and I was, racing for third, literally neck and neck with the girl who finished third over the last water jump. And my legs just kind of gave out. Like very similar to what happened to Olivia Markachek last year. I didn't fall, thank goodness, but I had Bambi legs at the end.
Yeah.
It was all I could do to just, cross the finish line because I truly gave it 100%. And so even though at US Champs I finished 7th and I ran like 9:16 again.
No, I think it was
9:17.
slower.
Okay, well, whatever, like 9:20 or something like that. Like I felt really good about that race, even though I didn't make the team, which was disappointing. And I, didn't finish as high as I wanted to, or even run as fast as I wanted to. I was really proud of myself for putting myself in the race.
Well, I think especially with how good US running is, I mean, go down the fucking list of events where top contenders didn't make teams. And obviously I think you were, with the year that you were having, it was hard to, I mean, even though you ran such a crazy race last year and had such a good year in general and have like relatively like the fastest PRs, I think just, with the year that you had, it was like, well, obviously everyone knows you can make the team, but also at the same time, like you haven't had like a great year. But I mean, obviously, in my eyes, and I'm sure a lot of people, you're still one of the people that could easily make the team. And I also think if you run that race 10 times, I don't think that team is the same every single time. Not to say that, I mean, I thought like Angelina Napoleon was like the one person that I thought would actually make that team, because you could just tell like how much confidence she had, and confidence like that is dangerous. But anyways, I think for me, watching you just put yourself in a spot and compete till your legs like just didn't have it. I mean, what else can you do? Like you put yourself in a chance to make the team, and effectively with 150 meters to go, you were on that team.
Yep.
And then your legs gave out. So I don't know. That's like, you can't be too upset with putting yourself in it until the bitter end, and then just not having it on the day, which I think someone I saw somewhere, I either read it or listened to it, where someone said like, US running is so good these days that not only do you have to be really fucking good, but you also have to have a good day. And yeah, I mean, go down the list of people that didn't make teams that are really fucking good, like Yared and, Josh Hoey, and like Josh, you can maybe blame
Carissa Schweizer.
Yeah. I mean,
Kaladi.
yeah. I mean, go down the list.
Yeah.
There's tons of people, but the important part is that, you got to put yourself in the spot to make teams.
And I did that. And that's why, sure, it does hurt that, I didn't have the day to make the team, but I'm not mad at myself, and I'm not hanging my head, because I gave it everything I had.
Yeah.
And I can walk away from that race knowing that I didn't give up mentally.
Yeah.
Which is really important.
For sure. Yeah. If you were not in it with 2 laps to go or 3 laps to go, that's a different story, right?
Yep.
But yeah. So, I mean, that's why I still think it's probably the best race you've run, because even though in a lot of ways you haven't had the year you've wanted, even though you've been healthy, there's been things that just haven't gone your way, and it made it hard to like build momentum. And yeah, I mean, even with everything, you showed up and you gave it to 150 and you didn't have it on the day. Like I said, maybe you run the race 10 different times, probably ends 10 different ways, especially with how much depth there is in the sport.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, you could say that, like, I mean, I don't think anyone would have picked the team that made it in most events. So, and that was definitely true in the steeple.
But that's why they have to run the races.
Yep.
Because, it is about the day, and it's about showing up on the day. And so while it hurts, I think it is important, and I'm glad they run the prelims, and I'm glad they run the finals.
Yep.
So anyways, and so then after US Champs, obviously I was disappointed, but I had one more steeplechase on the calendar, the steeplechase in Lausanne, Switzerland. And so put my head down, trained for 3 more weeks, and raced at Lausanne.
Had a really had one. I mean, you definitely had other good workouts, but you had one really, really good workout.
Yeah, I had some really, really good workouts. I was looking super, super fit, but Lausanne was tough. Like there was a torrential downpour.
It was okay. Sorry, not to interrupt. It was fucking insane how hard it was raining. It was like I was sitting in like the athlete the coaches section or whatever, like fucking laughing. I was like before the race started because I was like, it is raining so fucking hard that it was almost kind of like hard to believe how hard it was raining.
If
But
it was any other sporting event, they would have had to cancel it because it was so
I don't know
bad.
about that, but it was raining like insanely hard.
It was insane. So I was kind of excited because I was like, okay, it's probably going to be kind of a slow grinder race. Like no one's going to go out and run 9 minutes today because it
Probably
was
not.
cold and rainy. And so I was like, okay, this could be a great race for me. And I was going, and then with like 3 laps to go, just like my throat completely closed up basically. I had
Yeah.
like some freak asthma thing happen.
Yeah, asthma attack.
And I just had to stop. It was like, I can't breathe. How am I supposed to run if I can't even breathe? Which really sucks because, I mean, Olivia Markochak was third. And
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
right with her and Courtney Wayman with 3 laps to go until, the weird asthma thing happened. So that really sucked. It was super disappointing. And then I had to go to drug testing afterwards. And it took me like an hour and a half to try to pee,
yep.
which was super annoying. So
Yeah.
then we finally get back and it's like cold, wet. And then it was hard to get to sleep. And then we had to catch a train to Geneva.
Yeah, I think I got like 1 hour of sleep that night.
We had to leave the Airbnb at like what, 5:30 in the morning, something like that.
Uh,
Catch the 5:50.
we left at 5:30 to catch a 5:50 train. But yeah, I mean,
But so the race in Lausanne was a huge disappointment, but again, like there's nothing you can do when stuff like that happens and it sucks. I definitely, wish that it could have been a better end to the steeplechase season, but oh well.
yeah, I mean, the important thing, I think, from my perspective is, you know, even though the results haven't reflected it, like everything is trending in the right direction.
Because then 2 days after Lausanne, I paced the mile steeplechase in
Yeah,
Brussels.
you paced Yavi. That was cool.
And I did, not to toot my own horn, but I did a exceptional job pacing.
Not to toot my own horn, but I fucking crushed it.
I did crush it. I ran a steeplechase 800, so there was no hurdles for the first 200 meters, and then we did the hurdle right before the water jump and then the water jump.
Mm-hmm.
So typically in a steeplechase, you basically have a full lap before you have to do the water jump, but in the mile, you do it in the first 200 or 250 meters. You do
Yep.
the water jump. And
Yep.
so I did, 2 laps with full water jumps, full steeplechase. I ran in like 2:13,
2:12.
2:12.
2:13, 2:12. Yeah, it was good. Your form looked really good. That pace was definitely too hot
It was too hot.
for yeah.
I mean, because Yavi ended up running 4:40, and afterwards I thought like, wow, if we had just run slower, like she would have run faster, and
Yeah, if you went out on like I don't know, 2:15, 2:16 even. Yeah, the pace was just too hot.
well, if the first K could have been closer to like 250, then the last 600 could have been a lot faster. Like she could have sped up. And if the first K was 250, I probably could have finished, which would have
Yeah.
been sweet.
Yeah. But
Because looking back at it, it's like, all right, like if I hadn't had to give 100% basically to run a 2:12 first 800,
yeah,
and if the winner runs 4:40, I don't know.
Yep.
Yavi and I were both very frustrated with what happened because she obviously wanted to run a lot faster, and if we had run slower, like I could have tried to finish, which would have been really cool. But because of the speed, there was no chance. Like my legs were definitely starting to fall apart there at the end of the pacing job. But it was really cool to be a part of something like that. And so, you know, even though the race in Luzon didn't go the way I hoped, the pacing job in Brussels was actually really, really fun. And so, yeah, now I'm back home in the US, and I plan to be in the US basically until the outdoor season starts.
Unless we go on a trip.
Unless we go on a trip.
Hopefully we will, I think. Maybe.
Yeah. But
We've
I don't
talked
want
about
to,
it.
yeah, I don't want to race
Yeah,
overseas until,
But I mean, hey, if your career says anything, you have a good year and you have a bad year. So next year is going to be a fucking banger.
Yeah, next year's going to be crazy. But now we've been teasing people with this road mile.
Yeah, I'm sure people are just absolutely have no idea what you could possibly be doing.
Okay, Mr. Sassy Pants. I'm running the Fifth Avenue Mile, which is going to be really fun in New York City next weekend. And so on September 7th. So tune in. I don't know what time it is yet. It's going to be sometime in the morning, but I'm really excited. I've never run Fifth Ave before. I've never run a road race as a pro before. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. The Fifth Avenue Mile is always like
It's cool. It's cool.
really
Then.
cool.
Yeah.
Last year, Carissa Schweitzer won.
Yep.
She ran a 4:18.
I wonder if it's like down.
It is net downhill.
Oh,
I think
is.
it's like 10 meters net downhill, something like
Yeah,
that.
that makes sense.
But
that totally makes sense.
yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm doing a road workout tomorrow, actually.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, 400s on the road.
Yeah. Like threshold 400s?
No, like mile pace, mile effort 400s.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, because Carlson was like, oh, do you want to do your workout on the track or do you want to do your workout on the road? And I was thinking, well, I have to race on the road. So I might as well
Yeah, get some experience.
yeah, exactly. Because I've never actually done a workout that fast on the road before. Obviously, I've done workouts on the road, but not like, 400s and 65s on the road.
Right.
And so it's going to feel quick. And so I'm excited. I have a brand new pair of Alpha Flies that I'm going to wear.
Shout out Nike.
Shout out Nike.
Greatest fucking shoe company on the planet.
Actually,
And I would say that even if you weren't sponsored by Nike because they just are the fucking best.
it's honestly so absurd. Like today I cleaned out my closet because Nike gives me a pretty big budget for like gear every year.
Yep.
Pretty absurdly large.
Yeah.
And so then like obviously I've had this contract for over 2 years now, and so I have over 2 years worth of like stuff. And my closet was getting absolutely jam-packed. And so I already cleaned out like a bunch of it a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And then I did a second round of like purging to get rid of stuff. And so I'm getting like 2 giant garbage bags full of clothes to the CU students or the women's team.
Damn.
I
Wait,
know.
of clothes?
Yeah, like running clothes and
Damn.
like casual clothes and stuff.
That's insane, bro.
I know. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That is pretty insane. What? You want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because it's almost my bedtime actually.
What time do you have to wake up tomorrow?
I have to be ready to warm up at 6:30 a.m. out at Tom Watson, and it takes like, 25 minutes to drive out there.
Yep.
So probably gonna have to leave the house at like 6:05 tomorrow morning.
Well, I think, okay, before we end, we should talk about like what we're going to talk about on the podcast, because I think obviously we just spent basically the whole first episode talking about your season, which I think is awesome, and I think a ton of people, well, I don't know about a ton, but I think some people will be interested in hearing that. I would be interested in hearing that. If Gabby Jennings started a podcast, I'd be interested to hear her thoughts on her season. Same thing. But besides running, we're going to talk about more things than just running. So what are some other things you want to talk about on the podcast?
I definitely want to talk about Formula One.
Yep.
That's an easy one.
Yep.
What about you? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I want to talk about Formula One. I want to talk about cars in general. Val and I are both super into cars. Speaking of which, shout out BMW. They just raped me for $700 for an annual service. So that was cool. Thanks, guys. I apparently had to get my fuel system cleaned at 30,000 miles on my. So yeah, fuck. That's the thing. Like once you start having shit, like the more shit, like the saying. Okay, this is gonna sound so corny. The literally more money, more problems is so fucking true. Because like, okay, whatever. Fuck my life. It's
Okay,
whatever.
yeah, it's kind of true, but also at the same time, like, oh, my BMW M2 high performance car. I have to actually take care of it. Whatever, dude. Shut up.
Fuck you. Like whatever. You're okay. So I didn't buy a fucking Toyota.
I mean,
Whatever. Anyways, yeah, I had a 700 like $700 service today, which was fun. And then they cleaned the car, which is really nice. And then we get there and it's fucking pouring.
literally, like
So
torrential downpour.
the cleaning, which is super nice because normally I have to clean my car, which is a pain in the ass, but I do like it looking good. And yeah, now it's fucking dirty as shit because it just got poured on and we had to drive home in the pouring rain.
We did see a rainbow, though.
Yeah, I did get some cool pictures of Val's car in the rainbow.
Yeah, my car's at the end of the rainbow, and the picture is very cute.
Yeah, but yeah, so I definitely want to talk about cars. Like, for example, I think like Jakob posting all the YouTube stuff about cars, I think is so sick.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of Jakob until he started posting the car stuff, and then I was like, oh, this guy's like actually just like super cool and like into like the same shit I am. So yeah, I think car stuff is really cool. I also love like, football. You like football as well. So I think we'll probably talk about that. Fantasy,
College football, CU.
CU. We'll definitely talk about CU. Like CU running. Shout out Carlson and the whole team. I hope they crush it this year.
Me too.
Um, Hopefully, you think Carlson will come on the podcast? That'd be cool. That'd be a cool guest to have.
Yeah, he would never shut up though. He just talked for 2 hours straight. Carlson, if you're
He's never
listening,
gonna come on now.
yeah, if you're listening, ignore that. And you definitely should come on the podcast, Carlson. That'd be sick, actually.
Yeah.
That'd be super sick.
Uh,
What else do we want to talk
What
about?
else? What else?
Current events, I think, are interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Current events.
And
It would have been
obvious-
really fun to be podcasting around like the time of the election.
Oh my gosh. Maybe we could get Trump on the podcast.
No.
Just kidding. But current events, if Kyle's open to it, sometimes I like to talk about conspiracy theories.
Yeah, Val's kind of conspiracy theories. Sometimes I'll just like walk in and she's watching some fucking video about like
Bigfoot or something.
yeah, or like aliens and I'm like, holy shit, like we gotta be careful because you watch too much of this stuff. It's at what point do you start believing in the conspiracy theories that you're like listening to? Like at a certain point some of those just kind of like, burrow in and nest in your brain and you're like, no, like, dude, I'm telling you, like, it's fucking possible.
Mark Zuckerberg is an alien. He's a lizard person. Trust me.
He's a weird fucking guy.
He is super weird. But apparently he, is into MMA and he blew out his knee and he's doing
He got into MMA because he wanted to not be a fucking nerd anymore.
That's true.
Like he wanted to go hang out with all like the tough
Joe
guys. Yeah, like he wanted to be like, no man, like I'm not a fucking like computer nerd. Although like he went on like I love Theo Vaughn's podcast, and he went on Theo Vaughn's podcast and he made this joke. He has a Cadillac. What's your favorite Cadillac, by the way?
Okay, Kyle has this thing because he asked, like, does Cadillac even make performance cars? And
This was like years ago.
before they had an F1 team. But I was like, yeah, they have the CT5 Blackwing. And Kyle was like making fun of me endlessly for that. And I was like, that's the one Cadillac that's actually like really cool.
It is actually genuinely a cool car, but it was like I was like, yeah, you mean the CT5 Blackwing?
Just because I knew the name of a Cadillac performance race car.
Yeah.
Kyle, but I will say, even though Kyle doesn't know the name of the Cadillac high performance race car, Kyle does know the names of like all the Ferraris.
I don't know. I mean, I know the name of a lot of cars, but anyways, so what I was trying to say is
Mark Zuckerberg, CT5 Blackwing.
yeah, he's like, oh fuck me, I fucked up the video again. Anyways, all right, I'll just quickly finish this. The CT5 Blackwing Um, that's the car that Mark Zuckerberg has, and he's like, yeah, it's a manual, it's pretty sweet. Like he's trying to like commiserate with us like poor people, like that he has like because like he could have like a Koenigsegg or something like
Right.
crazy. Like he could have any car
And a
he fucking
CT5
wants.
Blackwing is like
It's
it's
like
still $100,000 car, but like
yeah,
let's
it's not
say you add a zero.
I don't even think that's $100,000 car. I don't know. Maybe it is. I think it's like they're like 80 or something. But anyways, he he was like talking about how he got like his like helicopter's license, I think, and he was making a joke about how yeah, like your helicopter has to have as much horsepower as your car. It's like, dude, shut up.
Yeah,
You weirdo.
Zuck is kind of a cringe lord, but
Yeah, he's a super
anyways, those are only a taste of some of the things that you'll hear Kyle and I talk about on this podcast.
Yeah, now the camera just looking directly at me. We got this like cool camera, but it senses like hand gestures, so and I like to talk with my hands sometimes, and now it's just staring directly at me. So if you're on the YouTube, sorry about that. But I don't want to get up and fix it again. Anything else?
Um, I can't really think of anything right now, but
We actually have so much to talk about, but Val is so strict about her bedtime.
I'm a high performance athlete, something that you wouldn't know about. Boom, roasted.
Hold on. Which one is it? Which one is it? Yeah, we have a soundboard.
Um, yeah, I am pretty strict about my bedtime. Well, it's just because I like to try to get sleep, especially because I have a pretty hard workout tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, for sure. I was just giving you a hard time. Um,
But yeah, for the audience, let us know what you think. Leave comments,
yeah,
like the
we'll
videos.
probably we have to we still have to do all the like clerical stuff. Like we still have to create like a Spotify page, which obviously by the time you're listening to this will all be real, but like we still need to create like an Instagram and a TikTok. We're ambitiously thinking that we'll post clips, which I do think would be cool to do.
And
Um,
once we get the ball rolling, it'll be a lot easier, but kind of like getting through all that clerical work is pretty annoying. But
yeah, we still need to create like a logo and stuff, but we'll get it all sorted
yeah.
out because we want to post this probably in the next couple days. So we probably got to do that pretty ASAP-rooney. Um, but yeah, no, we're really excited. We're not really sure on the cadence of this. I think at minimum we would be posting like at least
Once a week,
once a week.
at least.
Yeah, if anything, like today's like Thursday, but we've already talked about how like, well, if we have time on the weekend, we definitely want to record another one.
Yeah, because there's definitely stuff that we still want to talk about that we didn't talk about on this podcast that
Yeah, like we didn't
is
talk about like
relevant.
the Diamond League. That final just happened today. We can save that for the weekend.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good.
Okay, anyways, thank you so much to anyone who tuned in to listen to this. Especially thank you to anyone who made it to the end. You guys are awesome. Um, yeah, just, we're going to try to be really consistent about this and hopefully you enjoy it. If there's anything you want to hear us talk about, please let us know. But yeah, we're super, super excited and we can't wait to see, uh, you know, what the future has in store for this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun for us, even if no one listens to us. Like, I think this is fun.
Oh, it's super fun actually. Like Kyle and I have all kinds of great conversations all the time. And so getting to share even a little bit of this with you guys is really awesome. I mean, I know from personal experience that like when you listen to a really good podcast and the two hosts or the guest and the host are, having great conversations, you get wrapped up in the story. And it's really cool. And so if we can even,
It's pretty ambitious to say that we're gonna have great stories. That we'll see. Hopefully.
but if we can even provide just like a little bit of that to people, it means a lot. Coming from an avid podcast listener, like it's cool when that happens. And hopefully we can provide that to some listeners.
Yeah, hopefully. But episode 1, Spiked and Psyched in the books. Yeah, let us know what you think. And we'll be back very, very soon. And yeah, thank you so much. Go follow, give this podcast a rating on Spotify. follow us on all the social platforms and subscribe on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. So, anything you want to sign off with?
Just we're super psyched.
That's why we're spiked and psyched.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.